Today, we're saying goodbye to the graduating seniors. You're watching the last episode of Studio G for the 2015 spring season, and guess what? It starts right now. Welcome to today's edition of Studio G's magazine. I'm your host, Mandy Massa. Joining me right now are graduating seniors Azalee Maslow, Nicole Reynolds, and Ezra Malha. We begin today with Azalee's story. So Azalee, go ahead and just start us off. Tell us about your favorite story of the semester.
Well, I think my favorite story was when I did the one on home invasion, and I talked to Bob Irwin, who's a gun and home invasion expert. And he basically just took us through what to do if someone comes into your home.
I'm trying to remember the story, actually. I'm not sure if we have any footage from the story or not, but tell me a little bit more about the story.
So basically it just goes over what to do, how to prepare yourself if someone happens to come into your home while you're there. A lot of times you'll be sleeping. So his main advice was, if you are going to have a gun, to try to protect yourself, to first off take classes and keep it always in the same place and keep it somewhere that you can easily access it.
I'm looking at the footage right now, where is this guy, where is he from? You might have already said, Bob Irwin, right?
He's from here. I think he owns a gun store here.
That's what I thought, because I was just going to say, I interviewed him.
Oh, really?
Just looking at him, for a campus carry package that I actually story that I never did, but he looked familiar. He gave me a 14-minute long interview, so
yeah,
I figured I would have plenty to
What
talk
other
about.
stories that you've worked on that you kind of like, but this is your favorite actually, but what are other stories that you like?
I really like my Powerbox story, so because it brings out the artists around campus and brings that sense of community. But this story, I think it's important to point out that there are other things you can do besides getting a gun. Like, you can take self-defense classes, or you can get pepper spray, or like a personal alarm.
But a lot of people think, the pepper spray doesn't really work.
What do you mean?
You have to get closer to the person to do it. Like, what if they snatch it away from you or something? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's been windy, so yeah. That could be bad.
There's been a lot of talk about, we talked about the campus carry bill this week on the show, and there's been a lot of talk about that. And then last week's magazine show, we had Dina showing us about the self-defense classes.
Yeah.
So there are other ways. I really liked are you following me? That was my favorite thing. I mean, it's kind of funny, but because it would work. I think that it really would.
Or
it
would
would
just
work.
startle a person.
But if they're not following you, then that's really awkward.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to laugh about it, but then I was like, oh, is that inappropriate? I shouldn't, that's a real thing, but yeah, if they're not, the person would be like, what? Sorry,
No.
getting off topic a little bit.
You actually interned this semester while taking this class. Was this one of those stories that you did with your internship?
Yes.
How did that help? Or was it cool getting connections through that also?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's a lot easier to get connections when you're with a TV station instead of with UNLV, unfortunately. Like, they want to talk to you more if it's going to be on real news.
So did this ever go on real news?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I don't watch those.
Only watch us.
I just watch us.
Well, thank you, Azalee. You definitely gave us a few stories that were memorable, and we'll move on to Nicole. Nicole as well, giving us some good stories. What story did you choose to showcase today?
So I chose my pathological gambling story, mainly because it ties in with what my minor is, my required minor, which was human services and working with people who have addictions of all different sorts. And this was actually a class that I thought I needed, but I ended up not needing. It was just something that I ended up just being really intrigued by, because I mean, we're surrounded by casinos here in Vegas, and you don't really think about, the assumption is, oh, these people are just here to have fun and waste their money and have a great weekend in Vegas. But the reality of it is, like, there's so many other aspects. There are people actually in there who are probably dealing with an addiction. And I was talking to one of my professors, Oscar Sita, who's not in the B-roll, but he was telling me that it's really about the sights and the sounds that are in a casino that just draw you in. And like, these are some of the signs of a problem gambler to like watch out for, like people who just spend more money and chase their bets or their losses with this perception that they're gonna win or maybe not win, but they just want to keep trying until they balance out. And most of the time, like, you don't. And it's a really interesting addiction, because gambling itself isn't addicting, but it's an addiction that stems from other addictions, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I think the games too, it seems like they draw you in more now. Like, they're really involved, and
they're really interactive.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
one of the games I was playing, it starts off, you put your money in and it goes, hey, let's play a game. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, let's play a game.
Like the new machines, like in the newer casinos, like the Aria or whatever, they have like really interesting, like you
or some of them you sit in the chair and the chair vibrates, there's music.
I've seen those.
It's like a dance party, and you're like, oh my gosh, I never want to leave.
So with the popular, they tie them into like popular films. And
I've seen Titanic, Michael Jackson, Wizard of Oz. Like, it's just incredible.
Different things.
Yeah,
I can see why. But you're saying it's not considered, at least from what you've heard, it's not considered an addiction.
The gambling itself isn't the addiction. Usually it stems from other addictions. Most people use it as a means of escape from other things. Maybe like a home life that's not very well, like marital problems. It's a way for them to be away, and then you just catch yourself in there for so long as a means of like staying away. Drinking addictions, because at casinos you sit at a machine and you can just, you don't necessarily have to pay for the drinks, but you're paying by putting your money in. So it kind of just stems from other things. Because, I mean, I know I can go into a casino and probably not sit there for hours on end, because I get really bored of it after a while, after losing all my money. But, I mean, some people it is. And it's like, think of like a child in an arcade who just like wants to play all the games and win all the tickets. That's what it's like for an adult.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in denial about it too, though, because they'll put like $100 in and they'll end up with $50, and they're like, "Well, I won $50." And I'm like, "No, you didn't."
You lost 50.
You still lost.
Yeah, well, obviously, especially being in Las Vegas, a really good story to bring to the show. So I can see why it was one of your favorites.
Thank you.
And we're not done yet. Coming up after the break, Ezra Malha tells us about an epic quest. You won't want to miss it.
I really like dance club the best, and football is my second favorite.
We take kids on hikes, we take them to the Springs Preserve, we take them on career exploration field trips, so they're going everywhere in our city and our community to see what is out there for them. What we want for the kids in our programs is the same you would want for your own kids.
To learn more about the program, we turn now to Ezra Malha, who kicked off the semester with some furry friends. Ezra, tell us about your furry friends.
Okay, so my story, this is the very first story that I did for our show in the season, and I was going through Facebook, not really thinking about like a story idea, but I read this, something on a page called Apaxi, like Questival. And it was a run, but it wasn't just like any other run. We have so many runs here in Vegas, and we all participate. But this one was kind of different. It was more like a challenge-based run. So you have like a list of challenges that you do with your group or your, you know, like whatever friends, and then the more challenges you get done, you get points, and then you get qualified for like the winning team. But the purpose behind all of this is they're working on delivering and getting clean water to people in Africa and Central America. So it was a great cause that they're doing, and it's a new idea of like a run or whatever, and it gets you to, you know, leave your social media for a little bit and then get to communicate with people, do different things. It was really, you know, random, the challenges they had find a person with your first name on the strip and take a selfie with them, or like go eat this, or like do a plank or whatever. So it was really random, but it was a way to get outdoors and experience new things in your hometown that you might have not been into before. So it was really cool.
You had to take pictures to prove that you did the things?
Yes. And then the first challenge was to take a selfie with a llama, and that was my favorite. Do you know
Where
how
did
fluffy
Where are these llamas in Las Vegas? I've never seen a llama.
They bring them. They travel with them all over. So it's still going on in different.
There we go. Okay.
They're going in different states as of now. They have different challenges, and then the final challenge would be in Central America to top it off.
How far, like, did you travel? Was it at UNLV at all?
I didn't. No, it was in downtown. Okay. So they do all of. Look at my. So I was in downtown. They did all of the challenges in Vegas, but the qualifying team, the winning teams, would travel with them to continue the challenges in different states, and then they go final in Central America.
Oh, so the people that won here in Las Vegas, they get to go.
Yes, we had one local team. I interviewed them. Actually, they were the winning team from here. It's really fun, and I'm always scared of camels. Like, I'm from Egypt and everything, but I don't like camels. But these
think there's a difference between a camel and an
alpaca.
Do they really
friendly? They're the same family.
What about alpacas?
Camels are way bigger.
They're way bigger and they're like scarier. So. I love those. They're fluffy. They're so fluffy. I love them.
Yeah. Well, you're also have seen a camel in real life, so I guess
I didn't own one.
We can't say that we're not afraid. We might be afraid of them if we.
I've never seen a camel face,
and they make like
hump to hump with
funny sounds. But anyways, this was my story, and it's funny because like when we first started the season, I was worried about how to get stories, but then the ones that you really don't think of and you just shoot, it becomes the most, the closest to your heart, I think. So I just enjoyed it.
And your stand-up was fantastic. That's something we were all trying to do, was get nice get our own face in front of the camera, and that was awesome.
You got your face and a llama's face.
And a llama's face.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take one more break, but coming up, the second round of graduates share their favorite stories of the semester. We'll be right back.
My show is called Window on the Middle East, and it deals with all the issues that deal with the Middle East. Middle East is a very important part of the world. I grew up in America, and yet I'm from the Middle East. It's a commoner's viewpoint based on experience as well as scholarship. My name is Shervin Mushuri. I'm the host of the talk show Window on the Middle East at the rebelhd2.com.
The name of my show is called Perfect Music Radio. The music that I play is pop music, alternative music, a little bit of R&B, and just a drop of hip-hop. Giving information about what's going on in today's society, technology, entertainment, not just in the community, but outside of the community. You're listening to Perfect Music Radio with me, Lily, right here on 91.5, the Rebel HD2.
Thanks for staying with us. You're tuned in to Studio G's Senior Send-Off. And let's keep the reminiscing going with Monica Madrano and Clarissa Lovett. And we are going to start with telling you a little bit about here on Studio G. Reporters are able to hone in on subjects they are passionate about. Clarissa Lovett tackled the topic of family-friendly Las Vegas. Clarissa, tell us about this theme, why you picked it, why you wanted to have what we call a franchise here, where it's, you know, all through the semester.
I just really did it because I feel like a lot of people come here with children, and there's not much for kids to do on this strip. So you kind of have to find something, and you don't always know where to go to find that. And I thought it would just be a good idea because, you know, children can't do things on the strip. And showing people just little things around the valley to take them to, I thought was like helpful. So
what was your criteria?
Oh, gosh.
What makes it well, some of them were obvious, but that it was kid friendly. You know, the Children's Museum, I know you did. But what was the criteria otherwise?
I mean, I just looked at things that didn't involve, like, you know, naked people and hookers or something like that.
Good criteria.
But I don't know, just some like stuff that kids would enjoy. So like this one that you're seeing is the Springs Preserve, and they had a lot of stuff for kids. It's really kid-based. You know, the butterflies, it just teaches them about their habitat and all that kind of stuff. It tells them about how to live smart in the desert, so that's something they can take home. They do a lot of exhibits, and the one that they had when I was there was the chocolate exhibit, and what little kid doesn't love chocolate? So I did
Or adult, really, for that matter.
Right? Any adult loves chocolate.
Did you get to try some of the chocolate?
No, they had, okay, I went on like a Friday or something, and Saturday was the like chocolate tasting.
What?
They don't
Not
have it
every day?
day?
No. Which is
exactly what,
craziest
my
thing
thoughts
ever.
exactly.
Yeah, so they had it only one day during the entire time they had the exhibit. And the one they have now actually is like Dino Summer, I believe. So it's a lot of like dinosaur-based stuff for kids. I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, I saw that. And a lot of the things that you pointed out, some of the Atomic Testing Museum, I went there. You know, the natural history, there was a lot. And for adults too, but I suppose that's why you called it family friendly. Is because
right.
They can go, but
it was a lot of stuff that parents would enjoy doing with their kids, not just like taking them to another movie, but it's stuff where they can learn as well as like have fun.
Yeah. So what other ones did you like doing a lot?
Oh, I really like doing the Children's Discovery Museum. Yeah. For my stand-up, I actually got to be in the hurricane machine that they have. And that was terrible, and my hair was like a complete mess.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know what that machine that you were in was.
Yeah, it was a hurricane machine. And normally you have to pay for that, but you can just go, because they have them down at like Town Square and stuff. But you can just go there and pay to get in and do a whole bunch of things. They teach them about like the force of water, and they like put them in a play, and they make their own plays and just have them be creative. And they're learning all this stuff and not even realizing that they're learning it. So it's just really cool for me.
All right, and I think we're going to move directly to Monica here, not going to take another break. And she is going to tell us about some musical creatures that she met. Did we say that?
So I feel like I've talked about this story a bunch. I met a lady who does taxidermy on some mice. So she dresses them up into little rock and roll characters, and this woman does it for fun. She doesn't know if she's going to sell them yet. She only does it kind of on the side. This isn't her day job or anything, but it was really cool to be able to go into her house and kind of see, you know, what she does, because it was a little odd. What you're seeing is some of the mice that she worked on. So she makes little characters, and she puts little doll boots on, you know, these little mice, and it was definitely a trip to see. So it was kind of funny too. She was saying that when she was dating, because she has all of this in her house, and she says that guys have to pass through her room to get to her bedroom. So, like, if you can get over that, you know, then maybe you're worthy. But
she's married now, right?
She is. Apparently. She's married, and she's actually pregnant right now, and her husband doesn't let her work on the mice.
I could see
because
why.
he's afraid of the chemicals. But she actually gets these mice from the pet store. So she buys them frozen, and she doesn't kill them. And she's just a trip, and she's a really interesting person to be around, and she actually collects taxidermy. So she has a bunch of different taxidermy things in her house. She's got a giant bear. So it was definitely
by giant. What do you like? How giant?
I mean it's a bear. You know, bears are pretty big.
It's a full-size bear just in her living room.
Yeah, it kind of hangs out. It was next to her during our interview, so I don't know if that was quite distracting, but.
Were you comfortable in this with them? I mean, I didn't know if did you know them before? Were you comfortable in a house with all of this stuff?
I mean, I thought it was crazy because someone had told me about it before. They're a family friend, so my family was telling me, they're like, you gotta see her house. It's filled with all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, why would anyone have all this crazy stuff? But it made for some great footage, and it was really fun to do. So
I know we didn't have any sound this time with it, but she seemed really, I don't want to be insulting, but she seemed really normal for, you know, kind of a strange hobby, if you will.
She was pretty normal. I mean, I don't think this is a common thing. She's not a hunter. She just does it on her free time, so she has a day job. I don't remember what it is. She has a kid.
So she doesn't hunt the mice.
Hopefully the kid comes out normal, and I'm sure it will. So,
and hopefully he likes pets.
Right. Did she fashion them after her favorite bands, or just like anyone?
I know she did it on Elton John just because she liked the colors of Elton John's costumes and things like that. And then Kiss, I think, is one of her favorites, so that's kind of her inspiration on that. I don't remember who she said she was going to do next, but hopefully someone interesting, and maybe I'll come back and cover that for us.
I'm going to need you to post this on some sort of social media so that I can see what she is up to. And we're going to go ahead and take one more break now, but after, I'm going to share my experience with some new camera technology. Welcome back. Some of our stories allowed us to experiment with different ways of shooting. For my story, I was able to play around with a GoPro, which I actually begged my fiance to get me for Christmas, and then didn't even use it until I think this was in March. So I was pretty excited to use it. So I ran the color run, I guess I should start out by saying, and I got a camera guy to go with me. So I had him going around and filming things, and then I ran it through with the GoPro. And
did you put it on your head, like on a helmet?
That was what I was going to start out with, was the awkwardness of where to wear this thing. Because I thought, was it you that did you wore a GoPro with the chest strap?
I think Alyssa did.
Somebody did that last semester. And so I thought, oh, easy enough. I'll just put, you know, the chest strap on and run it. And no. That's so awkward. So the head one, no. I don't know if I have a large head or what, but that wasn't going to happen. Like, you can't run with that on your head. So what I ended up doing was putting it on my wrist and like running. No one can see because we're watching my footage, but I had it like this and I was running like this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
Was
like
it
this,
shaky?
now that you're seeing. I was running like this and going like that. It actually wasn't that bad. When I got it in there, I was really impressed because it was the first and actually only story that I used. I did some of each. And comparing it to we have great cameras. You know, we sign the forms that tell us the $1,000 that they will take from us. But I don't know, and you're seeing it right now, this is the footage, and it turned out pretty well. got some good stuff.
That's pretty surprising that you said having it on your wrist and running, it didn't come out shaky, because I just got a GoPro too, and I was filming underwater, and I feel like it was all over the place.
Really?
And I was like, why? Why would...
I mean, it kind of is. You can kind of see it, but I don't know. It worked, I guess.
It kind of gave the ambiance that like you actually were running.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, okay, even if I don't run, I can just speed it up, like in some of our editing software, you know. So, and I'm going to be real. Maybe that's why it's not so shaky. Is because maybe I was or wasn't running the whole time. So maybe that could be why.
I know that Alyssa had problems importing all of her media from her GoPro. Did you have the same thing?
Yeah, definitely. We learn one way to do things, and then it's a new thing every time. So, and I feel like we're always having technical issues, which is disappointing. I know I think we've all had audio issues and issues with, you know, things coming out. Poor Alyssa, we're talking about her. She's not even here today, but she had her stuff come out sideways, right? And she could never figure out how to flip it because it was on a different camera. So it's a struggle. And that's why when, you know, some stories turn out well and we're proud of them, we're proud of them. It's really good. So
it's exciting to talk about later.
Yeah.
So did you get, there was a lot of that dust that they throw on you. Did you get any of that in your camera?
Yes. And I didn't use the cameras that we use. I had a camera from another from UNLV-TV. I'm really worried that someone's watching right now, but they know about it actually. And yes, the audio, so much got in it that at the end when I was trying to do interviews, the audio went out. So journalist, you know, quick mind trick, I used my phone to get some audio. And so the GoPro footage that you saw, I was able to import just audio over the footage, and it turned out okay because I couldn't get any interviews because too much of the glitter and everything, but we blew out the camera and everything, so hopefully they were able. I don't know, I'll have to check in on that, but I'm hoping that they were able to fix it. So.
Well, it sounded like you got a lot of life lessons out of this story.
I did. It was really fun. I'll probably never do another run. I know we did a lot of runs, but me myself probably will be my last one, but it was fun. Well, thank you for watching the final magazine show of the season. We appreciate our viewers, fans, friends, and family, and hope that all of you enjoyed the stories that we brought you throughout the semester as well. And to my fellow graduating seniors, I wish you all the luck on your future ventures. To everyone behind the scenes, and especially to our executive producer, Dr. Larson. Thank you so much for everything you taught us, and thank you everyone for a great season, and that's a wrap.